Welcome to all of you audience members out there. What a wonderful day to stay woke with your neighborhood sensei Fouché. Now today I figured I'd cover something that we all deal with, and that is something very personal for me. And one thing that I think of a lot is when you do wrong, when you're the wrongdoer, and how you handle being the wrongdoer, and what are the results of being the wrongdoer. How do you handle the aspect of being the wrongdoer? When we create a moment, it's not like you could go back in time, press rewind, do the moment over, like it never happened, or change something in that happening, like it never happened. That's not the way things go. You can't go back, Bob. Pretty much a saying I got from The Walking Dead, but in that particular scene, this gentleman's crew, for those not familiar with The Walking Dead, it's a show about survival. And one group was trying to survive, and to survive, they wound up creating or doing something that they felt was going to protect them. And in doing so, and this whole show, depending on which side or perspective you look at things from, the whole thing is you make choices, and when you make choices, there's going to be results. And when you have those results, you can't take it back. And there's going to be happenings moving forward because of those results. So you can't go back, Bob. Let's say, in the term of secrets, I'll give you an example. At one time in my life, I was being dishonest. I wound up losing my job. This goes back years. If I was to give a specific time date, I would say 11, 12 years ago. I lost my job. And I knew that my lady was going to be real upset because, rent has to be paid. We have a child, so of course, provisions have to be accounted for, as far as, being guardians and parents. And I wasn't going to be holding up my end of the deal. So when she found out, and the way that the situation wound up coming to a head was the person, one of the assistants of management, came to my home because he had a side business. So I did a couple of side jobs for him. And upon doing those side jobs, of course, he knew, my residence location. I mean, he could have found that out from administration, if they were trying to do like a wellness check. So, he stopped by to check on how I was doing, and as well as provide an opportunity for a side job to make up income for the fact that, I was out a few days at the job that I was hired for, and I no called, no showed. So upon no calling and no showing, he came to check up on me. And here it was, I'm getting dressed and leaving out every single day for work, or making her think that I'm going to work and I wasn't going to work. I was passing by time and trying to figure out how to find another job before she found out that I wasn't at work. So of course, when that situation happened, I come home, not knowing what went down, and through a moment of interaction and her leading up to um, presenting the fact that or questioning where what I've been doing, um, I'm over here acting, really unacknowledging. So, she lets me know that the assistant manager stopped by, and he mentioned to her that I didn't show up to work for a couple of days and whether I was all right. And I still had the availability to keep my job if I got in contact with the management more immediate. So when she confronted me, that was the word I was looking for before. When she confronted me, I got real scared, and two, became real emotional, and then right after that became real defensive. And what I mean by defensive is the fact that, being that she was angry, like, I took the defense like I was the victim. And in me playing the victim, that started to enrage her more, because, I'm playing the little boy syndrome, like, hey, I did something wrong and I don't want you to be mad, so, I want you to forgive me, like now, you know, and, yeah, you can't be the victim. You can't control the consequences of their feelings because of what you did. The way that you want them to handle it, that's not your responsibility. That's insulting and non accountable, and it's selfish. It's your fault, and you can't expect mercy. You know, let's say you're cheating on your significant other, and they find out and they get mad, and they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to be intimate with you, and you become mad because they're not being the way that they used to be or the way that you want them to be, because you want to be forgiven and want everything, the whole heightened or emotional anger, you want that to minimize. So because it doesn't minimize, you start to feel very defensive, and that's not right. Being the fire starter means you have to be prepared for that bridge to burn. Again, being the fire starter means that you must be prepared for that bridge to burn. When we wrong someone, we cannot get defensive about them not immediately forgiving us. Now, that's going to be a hard process to go through. So, how should we deal with healing? Well, When we deal with healing, we could be impulsive in our reactions or patient in our processing. Now, impulsive reactions would be, get mad at the other person who we wronged and make it our priority or our point to feel equally or become more upset or mad at the other person because they're mad at us. We want them to forgive us, but the way that we choose to go about that process is to be more mad at them because they're not forgiving us fast enough for what we did wrong. Like, really? Like, at that point, you're basically burning the bridge for sure. You're not trying to grab the fire extinguisher to extinguish the fire. You're just basically flaming the fire by adding more, what would we call that? Action. Flare. So when you continue to flare at the fire, you're continuing to fuel the fire to where it becomes greater and the bridge is going to burn faster. Now, the alternate way of dealing with healing is to be accountable and patient in the processing. So, patient processing means that you have to continuously be understanding in your accountability and continue to do favorable things and act in a very submissive manner, and not submissive to where you don't have any self-control or you're giving up your value completely to them. What you're trying to do is honor your wrongdoing into soothing them emotionally by your honorable actions in order for them to feel comfortable in knowing that you continuously acknowledge that you were wrong in your decisions, or decisions plural, decision if it's a singular moment. But for you, there'll be more moments in different relationships. Patient processing is the key to healing. You have to do many things right to correct the thing that you did wrong. The thing that you did wrong is a major detrimental, damaging cause. It takes one wrong thing to require many right things in moving forward for you to become or be back to where you want to be in order to move forward into where you want to go. There's a strategy in what and when to say things and how to say them. Always remember that that person is hurt. They trusted you and you betrayed their trust by your actions. So you have to remember that it could take a minute, and that's metaphorically speaking, for that person to regain comfort in that relationship or having that connection with you. So, all that being said, there's a process, and that process is going to take time. And you have to realize that it's going to take time because you can't go back, Bob. Once you let the toothpaste out of the tube, you can't put it back. You can't push the toothpaste back inside the tube once the toothpaste is opened. It's an impossible task, or extremely difficult. So we're not going to say impossible because, nothing is really impossible. It really all just depends on your authenticity in your actions or your purpose. So before you make decisions or say things, it's hard to reprogram into a different form of creating, but chess is a very relative thing that I'm going to use as a reference. In chess, master chess players always think of their strategies three or six steps ahead before they make specific moves. And that's where patient processing comes into play. If you are very processing into what you say and what you do moving forward into being responsible, into trying to create healing, you will be more effective and get to the goal of actually being healed, or that relationship being healed, a whole lot sooner. Don't be overreactive into the fact that the person is angry and still showing an anger because of the traumatic feeling in that lost trust. If you continue to massage in the understanding of your accountability, that person will admire faster and greater in knowing that you truly are remorseful in your actions. And when that occurs, you will reach your destination of being fully healed in that relationship a lot sooner than later. So, remember, you can't go back, Bob. In every moment, in every word, in every choice, in our actions and what we think, what we do, and what we say, there is an end to that road of development that you created in your forward footsteps of action. So, always think about what you do and say before you do it. It will be for your better benefit as opposed to your greatest detriment. This is Sensei Fouché telling you to stay woke and service others with love and genuine authenticity. Thank you.